The oldest legislature in America was formed by a for-profit corporation, and it is still active and operating today. I'm Brian. I make videos about civics and law. Please like this, comment, share it, follow me. Get this video out there because this is important stuff. We all need to know about our history and law and civics, and getting this out there really helps people do that. Okay, so I've been in a rabbit hole about the founding documents of our country, and as I was looking around, I started learning about the Virginia Corporation of London. Now, the Virginia Corporation of London was actually one of two corporations, for-profit corporations, that were founded in the early 1600s to begin the process of colonizing what became the United States. In 1606, the Virginia Company of London and the Virginia Company of Plymouth were each granted royal charters to create colonies in the United States as for-profit enterprises. They were supposed to come over here and start towns, basically, and try to make money off of them. Now, these were just regular businesses that their business was to make money here, but they weren't necessarily sure exactly how they were going to do it. And as I've gotten into this a little bit more, I've seen that the Virginia Company of London, which is the only one of the two of them to survive, doesn't really know what it's doing until it sends a batch of tobacco back to London and it sells for a huge amount of money. But up until that point, they really have no idea how they're going to make that money. They're just sort of fumbling around trying out a couple of things. But the funny thing is, both companies are given a lot of the same land. One is way further south and one is way further north, but they cross over quite a bit. One runs from somewhere in North Carolina up to just north of New York City. The other runs from just south of Delaware all the way up through New York City up to about Maine. So there's a lot of crossover between Delaware and New York City. Both have claims to, and the idea is to make them compete to see which one can make money faster and survive. But it is the Virginia Company of London that survives, the southern one, the one that is in what we now call Virginia. And among the things they have to do as they begin to set up these towns is find a way to get these people to kind of manage things, because there's day-to-day operations that need to get dealt with. And so they end up in 1617 setting up a local legislature. The Virginia Company of London decides we are going to set up an elected local legislature here to manage things on a local level. And that local legislature is called the House of Burgesses. And the House of Burgesses operates from that year, 1617, through the time that the Virginia Company of London is dissolved, or at least loses its grant, and I believe 1624. The House of Burgesses survives that. When the king takes over the land, he continues use of the House of Burgesses all the way up until 1776, when Virginia claims independence. But rather than just wipe the whole thing clean and start over again, they decide to continue what they have going. So they move it, they change the name from the House of Burgesses to the House of Delegates, but it's essentially the same house. So today it is considered the longest running legislature in the New World. As for the Virginia Company of Plymouth, they really never managed to get their footing in the New World. They formed a town. They did not have the losses, actually, that the Virginia Company of London had, but they gave up a lot faster. Without nearly the number of deaths that the Virginia Company of London had, they just decided after a while they didn't like it and they went back to England. They tried, I think, one more time to reform and see if they could get some people together, but just never managed to make it happen. So that was sort of the end of that company. But the Virginia Company of London set up their town in Jamestown, Virginia, which is still active today, and became the state of Virginia and is still operating from 1606 until today. So that's part of our history. We are formed by a corporation trying to seek profit in the New World. Learn something new every day. Check out my link tree.